go back and forth like a yo-yo up.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kailin and I post videos every single Saturday. This channel revolves mainly about recovery and surrounding eating disorder recovery. And I post videos like what I eat in a week, try on hauls. I'm about to start doing some unboxing videos. It's just a little bit of everything, and it's a pretty laid back channel. I don't have a lot of expectations for myself or for my viewers, and I just do it for fun, basically. And I just want to show that it's possible to live life after recovery and have a normal and healthy relationship with food and with your body. In today's video, we are going to be discussing intuitive eating, which seems to be a very popular turn of phrase that's going around Instagram and the world right now. It's kind of everywhere, which is great because this lifestyle is one of the most sustainable and natural ways to live. And in this video, I'm going to explain how you can start intuitive eating and basically what you should expect, what's normal, and how to deal with all of that. There are plenty of books out there on intuitive eating, but I know that not everybody can afford it, and YouTube is a free medium, so I'm here to help you. Just a quick note, I am not a registered dietitian. I have just had a lot of experience when it comes to disordered eating. It took me around 22 years to overcome my eating disorders, so I've been around the sun a couple of times when it comes to this kind of stuff. But intuitive eating really helped pull me out of a very dark place. What is intuitive eating? It has a lot to do with listening to your body, listening to your hunger cues, and ditching all the diet mentality and diet culture, putting that all behind you. So you might not think that you have any disordered eating patterns, but you probably have diet biases or certain ideas around food that can be very toxic. And I'll paint you a little bit of a picture. I'll give you an example. If you label foods as good, or if you label foods as bad, or if you have planned cheat days or cheat meals, this is all diet culture. This is not normal. It's not normal to see food as good or bad. I do want to mention that some food has more nutrients than others. Some food has more vitamins than others. That is very, very well known. So we want to eradicate that guilt that you feel around food, that good, that bad, those good days, those bad days. And those emotions that you tie with food. So a lot of people will have like a very hard day at work or a very hard day emotionally, or they're maybe in a relationship that is not great and they turn to food as kind of their outlet. That has to be severed. Food is viewed as fuel and food is neutral. There are no bad foods, there are no good foods, and all food should be enjoyed. Now, of course, there are some exceptions. For example, if you have an allergy to peanuts, tree nuts, whatever it may be, or perhaps you're a vegetarian for moral reasons, you do not view, those dangerous foods or animals as food. So everything else that encompasses food that will not kill you or aligns with your moral compass must be included with intuitive eating. The point of not cutting out any of these foods like sugar or gluten or dairy or processed carbs or packaged foods, things like this, is to make sure that you are not afraid of any of these foods and to make sure that you also feel no guilt when consuming these foods. So for intuitive eating, there is no fear or guilt associated to any food. You can eat anything whenever you desire it. You eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. And I understand that this might sound a little bit impossible, especially for people who are coming from a history of dieting and yo-yo dieting and cleanses and fads and all of these things that you see all over the internet. Something else that you should understand about intuitive eating is that it is not a weight loss diet. Not at all. Through intuitive eating, some people lose weight, some people gain weight, some people don't change at all, and some people kind of go through these phases of gaining and then losing and perhaps gaining again until they reach a more steady weight. And if you're here to learn how to intuitively eat to lose weight, you're on the wrong channel. It's not how intuitive eating works. That's not what it's meant for. Intuitive eating is meant to repair your relationship with food. It's meant to repair your relationship with your body and tuning into your hunger signals. It has nothing to do with how you look physically. Right now, you are loving yourself enough to heal your relationship with food because you know that it's not great, you know that it's not normal, and that's already a huge step in the right direction. And I really want to emphasize that your body is the least important thing about you. Your heart, your kindness, your intelligence, these are all things that are really important and why people choose to be around you in the first place, or to love you, or to be a friend, or to confide in you. Nobody cares about how you look more than you do. You are going to be your biggest critic, but right now, the thing that I want you to understand is how you look is just not important, especially when you are entering your journey of intuitive eating. You must love and accept yourself, because things will change. You will gain weight, you will lose weight. You should not be stepping on a scale. And like I mentioned, intuitive eating is not a diet. And during this time, we are listening to our bodies, but we are not going to be judging them. Everyone has a different body type. Everybody has a different set point weight. Nobody is the same. I'm gonna say that again. Nobody is the same. Nobody needs the same amount of foods. Every day is different, you know? Some days I wake up super hungry, and so I have a nice big breakfast. Other days I wake up and I'm not that hungry, so I wait. It's about listening to your hunger cues and honoring them. It's about listening to your body and going back to what you were originally supposed to do and supposed to be. A baby is not born to count calories and count macros. You know, they either have formula or breast milk, and they eat until they're full and until they're satisfied. They don't just keep gorging themselves. Some days you are more hungry, some days you are less hungry. Human beings are not meant to eat the same amount of calories every single day. You're not meant to be tracking calories. You are meant to be listening to your body. This is the exact reason why calorie counting and macro counting and all of that stuff and weighing your food just doesn't make sense and completely goes against how human beings were originally raised. You know, you were meant to eat as soon as those hunger levels came in, and you were meant to stop as your stomach was saying, look, I've had enough. I'm full, I'm fueled, and I'm good. Your body is so flipping smart, you won't even believe. So when you're hungry, you have to eat. If you deny your body that fuel, then you're going to throw off your hunger cues, which is going to take a while to get back in the first place, because you're coming from this diet background where, you know, you're eating a specific amount of calories. You're not listening to your fullness at all. You're not listening to your hunger cues. You just eat kind of these pre-programmed meals. And it's so counterintuitive, because maybe you're hungry and you're not eating. Maybe you're not hungry and you're forcing yourself to eat. And most importantly, you're probably eating food that you don't really enjoy. And that's a big part of intuitive eating, is that you have to enjoy the food that you're eating. You have to not only listen to your hunger cues, but also listen to what your body is asking of you. And when you first start off intuitive eating, there's a big chance that you'll be eating a lot of processed foods, you know, so-called junk foods, packaged foods, sweets, highly processed foods. And let me tell you that that is completely normal. It's okay. You have to push through. And the reason for this and why your body is asking for all of these things is most likely, as it was in my case, was that you're restricting these things for so long, and your body, because it hadn't had any of that, is asking for it. It's kind of getting like it's fixed, if that makes sense. And that can go on for a couple of months. You can go on for 2 or 3 months. And that time is a very hard time. It's probably the hardest part about intuitive eating is when you first get into it and you're eating all of that so-called junk food, or things that you know, might not be the healthiest. It may not be full of nutrients, but you have to push through, because if you stop, and you're just going to be throwing off your body completely because you're not giving it what it wants. You're trying to restrict its calories because maybe you're afraid of gaining weight, but that is because you've most likely been restricting these foods for a very long time. But after this initial phase, for some people, maybe it's 2 or 3 weeks. For other people, it's a lot longer, up to 6 months. Where they're feeling a little bit wacky, they're still learning how to listen to their hunger cues, they're eating foods that they mainly used to never eat because they had restricted them. You're going to come to a place, a magical place, where your body begins to balance itself out, and where you're going to wake up and you're going to be like craving different things that you thought that you would never crave, such as maybe smoothies, or you're going to want a refreshing salad for lunch or dinner, or maybe a plethora of vegetables that sound really, really good for a nice snack. Your body is going to begin to balance itself out naturally without any manipulation from disordered eating or restrictive tendencies. And trust me, you might feel panic at first when you begin reintroducing all of these foods from the past, or reintroducing processed foods or junk food. I hate that word, but you know, you basically get the gist of what I am saying. Foods that don't have as many nutrients or vitamins, foods that are packaged, foods with lots of ingredients and sugar. But I promise you, it gets better, and you have to trust the process. It's not always going to be like this. People think that when they enter intuitive eating, that they're going to just eat a bunch of Oreos and pizza and cookies and ice cream, and that might be the case for the first month or 2. But if you want to get out of this dieting restrictive cycle, you have to push through that first initial stage, because it is so necessary. One day your body's going to wake up satisfied, and soon it's going to start asking for very different things, and it's going to kind of be a balance between whole foods, between fun foods, and just between, you know, fruits and vegetables, whole grains, all the things in between. But I do want to emphasize that intuitive eating doesn't mean that your health is just thrown out the window. Because after those initial phases of intuitive eating, and after you're learning to honor your hunger levels, there's also a phase of gentle nutrition. Knowing and understanding that fruits and vegetables are very important, that you need those vitamins, but choosing to eat them in a very enjoyable way, and never forcing anything down. You can go back for seconds for a meal if you're still hungry. But there's going to be no more diet trends. Those are all gone. You know, the celery juice, the apple cider vinegar, all of that stuff. You are smarter than that. You know that that stuff doesn't work, but this is proven to work. It's how human beings are meant to function. We are not supposed to be on diets. We are not supposed to be restricting food. It just doesn't make sense from a biological perspective. So before each meal, I ask myself 2 questions. The first question is, how hungry am I? And that's where the hunger scale comes into play. Because if I'm really hungry, then I'm gonna make myself a nice, big, substantial meal. But if I'm not that hungry, then maybe I'll make myself a lighter meal, or maybe a snack. And then that second question that I ask myself is, what do I feel like? And some days that's fruit, some days that's a smoothie, other days it's pasta. So before you eat, you always have to honor those 2 questions is, you know, how hungry am I? Am I hungry? And what do I feel like? And obviously, what do I feel like? Sometimes, you know, I feel like something and I don't have it in my house, and you've kind of got to play with your options. It's not like you're always going to truck out to the store and get exactly what you're feeling, because that's not life and that's not realistic. Another question could be, you know, what sounds best right now out of my available options. And then after I begin my meal or my snack, around halfway through, I kind of check in with my body again and be like, oh, like how full am I? Because sometimes I'm not paying attention. Sometimes I'm watching a show. Sometimes I'm talking to my boyfriend. And then I don't even realize how full I get. And, you know, I stop, I'm full. Maybe I haven't finished my meal, or maybe this meal that I prepared wasn't enough. So by the time I'm done my meal, I'm still hungry. So then I either go get another snack, or maybe I go get seconds, just to make sure that I'm always constantly honoring my body's hunger, never letting myself get depleted from energy and fuel, you know, that's the worst. You don't want to feel crabby and headachy. You want to eat when you're hungry, and you want to eat foods that you enjoy and foods that are going to properly nourish your body. That doesn't mean that you never eat past the point of being super full, but the point is that you don't want to get to that point, because that energy that you're putting into your body past the point of being full is essentially wasted energy, and it makes you uncomfortable and you're throwing off your hunger cues. So you want to have that sweet spot where you eat until you are satisfied, not until you're uncomfortable. And you never want to eat, like I mentioned, not enough, because you're also going to be uncomfortable in both of those places. So intuitive eating is such a journey, and it's really hard to shut off the food police in your head. You know, those voices that are saying like, oh, this isn't healthy, or you're going to gain weight, or I need to lose weight. Those are voices that you have to just crumple up and get rid of, and replace them with positive affirmations as this food is delicious, or I'm beautiful, I look great today. You know, you always want to replace those negative thoughts with positive ones, and you can literally go up to your mirror, look yourself right in the face, and just tell yourself how beautiful you are. You might look a little bit ridiculous, but I swear it works. Positive, you know, affirmations, positive self-talk, these are very important, and intuitive eating is a hard process, especially at the beginning, especially when you're coming from disordered eating or restrictive patterns and tendencies. It's hard to delve into this world where there are no rules, where you can eat whatever you want, where you can eat whenever you're hungry. It's a very foreign concept, especially for somebody who has dieted for so freaking long. Like, I know it sounds crazy. Yes, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and you can live a healthy and balanced lifestyle and not be obsessed with food. And it's really not easy to turn off those voices, and it's really hard to get past that initial phase and to move into the gentle nutrition and to start to understand your body and to start doing joyful movement, which is kind of a whole other topic. But part of intuitive eating is that you're also following intuitive exercising and making sure that you're moving your body in a way that's not a punishment, in a way that's enjoyable to you. Maybe that's a 20-minute walk, or maybe that's a little yoga flow in the morning, or maybe it's a high intensity cardio session because that's what you enjoy doing. That's also part of intuitive eating. But just to get into intuitive eating, you need to push through that first initial phase. And I know it's hard. I know, but it's so worth it. And I'm proof of that. I hated myself for 22 years, and I've never been happier. I love my body. I love the relationship that I have with food. I'm not constantly thinking about food. I'm not, you know, looking at the menu before I go to a restaurant with friends because I'm worried about calories and healthy options and all of these things. I'm just living my life. I can go to a restaurant, look at the menu, look at what sounds good and order it, and not feel guilt and not feel shame. Those are feelings that should never be encompassed with food. And I know that it's really scary to take that first step forward, but it is so necessary to heal your relationship with food. And it's so possible. It's so possible. And if you have any other specific questions, please leave them in the comments below. I answer every single comment and DM that I get on Instagram. I know that this video was probably all over the place. My videos aren't scripted or anything, so I kind of just spitballed a little bit. But that's basically what the gist of intuitive eating is. It's listening to your hunger cues, stopping when you're full, eating when you're hungry, eating the foods that sound good, and then applying a little bit of gentle nutrition after you've passed through the first phase successfully. And I'm here to help you heal your relationship with your body and with food. So like I said, feel free to comment down below. Feel free to send me a message. I am always here to support and to help you in any way that I can. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you got something from it, whether or not you are already on your intuitive eating journey, or if you are about to just dip your toes in, do it. This is your sign. Leave all that dieting crap behind you and get on into it. You know, just push the gas pedal down, go for it. What's stopping you? You know, why not live a happy life where you're not obsessed with food? I don't know. Tell me. Please subscribe if you like videos like this. It really helps support my small little baby channel. And also feel free to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or got something from it. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
You go back and forth like a yo-yo, up and down, you got me.